At the edge of the village, a house waits. Abandoned, cursed, and alive. Tonight, Ali steps inside. And what follows will chill your soul forever. At the far end of the old settlement stood a house that carried a weight in the air around it, an unspoken heaviness that made anyone who looked at it uneasy. Its cracked bricks, damp walls, broken windows, and sagging roof all hinted at a story the world had tried to bury. The house had been abandoned for many years, yet its silence felt strangely alive, as if something within it still breathed. People walking past would quicken their steps, avoiding even a glance, as though their souls feared the shadow this house cast. Rumors about the place were endless. Some said the windows opened and shut by themselves at night, as if someone was peeking through them. Others claimed to hear the sound of children running inside during the darkest hours, even though the house had been empty for decades. A few brave young men had once approached the entrance, only to feel a sudden blast of cold air pushing them back, almost as if the house itself refused visitors. The elders of the village spoke in hushed tones, saying the home once belonged to a joyful family, until an unexplained tragedy destroyed everything. What truly happened that night, no one ever dared to say. But after that incident, strange whispers began echoing from the house, sometimes crying, sometimes laughing, sometimes calling for help. Those who lived nearby swore the house was alive. Watching. Waiting. And the most frightening thing of all? The house seemed to be calling for someone. Ali had heard stories about the abandoned house for as long as he could remember. The people of the village warned him repeatedly, their voices filled with fear. They never passed by the house alone, never looked toward its windows, and never spoke about it after sunset. But Ali was different. Where others felt fear, he felt curiosity. The more people tried to stop him, the stronger his desire grew to uncover the truth hidden within those dark walls. Night after night, he sat with his friends listening to tales of strange screams, shifting shadows, and unexplained footsteps. His friends shivered and swore never to go near the place, but Ali felt drawn to it. A question had begun to take root in his mind. What exactly is inside that house that everyone is so afraid of? This question grew until it became an obsession. Soon, he began visiting the area around the house in the evenings. Sometimes he peeked through broken windows, other times he quietly approached the main door, yet something always made him stop. His friends teased him, saying he'd lose his life if he dared to go in. Ali only smiled, pretending not to care, though deep inside he knew the truth. He wanted to go in. One foggy night, under a pale, half-hidden moon, Ali finally decided it was time. He grabbed a flashlight, a small notebook, and his phone, determined to uncover the secrets of the cursed house. As he reached the entrance, he felt a strange pull, almost like the house itself was inviting. As soon as Ali stepped inside, the old wooden floor groaned beneath his feet, releasing a long, tired creak, as if the house had just woken from a deep slumber. His flashlight illuminated only a small portion of the thick darkness, and even that seemed to struggle against the heavy blackness inside. A stale, suffocating smell lingered in the air, a mixture of damp wood, rot, and something older. Something unnatural. He took 2 cautious steps forward. Then, bang! The door behind him slammed shut with a violent force that echoed through the entire house. Ali spun around, heart hammering against his ribs. The door didn't just close. It felt like something had pushed it shut. A cold gust of wind brushed against his neck, icy enough to make him shiver. It felt as though someone had just walked past him, close enough to touch. The silence that followed was unsettling. It wasn't a normal silence, it was thick, pressing, filled with a strange tension. The type of silence that feels like it's listening. Ali lifted his flashlight and swept it across the walls. They were cracked, damp, and covered in patches of mold. Long cobwebs hung like curtains from the ceiling. The house looked dead, yet Ali felt a presence. Something unseen watching him. Suddenly, a faint thud sounded from the upper floor. Then another. Slow. Heavy. Determined. His pulse raced. It felt like the house had acknowledged him, recognized that he had entered. Ali tightened his grip on the flaws. Ali turned his flashlight toward the right wall, and froze. A shadow darted across the surface of the wall, fast and fluid, like a human figure sprinting. But there was no one in front of the flashlight. No body to cast the shadow. Just empty, choking darkness. His stomach tightened. Did I really see that? Before he could process it, another shadow slid across the opposite wall. This one was taller, its limbs unnaturally long, bending and twisting in ways no human body could. Ali moved the light quickly. Nothing. Just dust. cracks, darkness. A scratching sound suddenly cut through the tension. CHSS. 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 Like nails dragging slowly along the floor. He pointed the light toward the sound, expecting to find a rat or some animal, but the corner was completely empty. Still. The scratching grew louder, closer, like something crawling toward him on all fours. His breath trembled. The air seemed to thicken around him, pressing against his chest. Then. His flashlight flickered. Flickered again. And went out. Pitch-black silence swallowed him whole. In that darkness, Ali sensed movement. A shift in the air. A presence forming in front of him. He couldn't see it, but he could feel it, the unmistakable sensation of something standing inches away. The flashlight sputtered back to life for a brief second. And in that instant, a shapeless, humanoid shadow stood right in front of him. No eyes. No face. No features. Just a trembling. Ali's flashlight kept flickering, as if fighting a force that didn't want him to see. Panic tightened around his throat. The silence lasted only a moment before another sound rose, slow, deliberate footsteps on the wooden floor. Doc. 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 Soft, but unmistakable. At first the steps were distant. Then they came closer. And closer. And closer. Ali spun the flashlight toward the source, but it flickered uselessly, showing only glimpses of warped walls and empty darkness. The footsteps stopped. Right behind him. A cold breath touched the back of his neck, sharp and icy, like winter air exhaled by something not human. His skin crawled. A shiver ran through him so violently he almost dropped the flashlight. Then a whisper, barely audible, slid into his ear. "You came. Anyway." The voice wasn't angry. It wasn't loud. It was worse, calm and curious, as if surprised he had survived this long. Ali jerked around, but there was nothing there. Nothing but blackness. But on the dusty floor, right beside his own footprints, was another set. Longer. Heavier. Fresh. His heart nearly stopped. Suddenly, loud running noises echoed from the upper floor, like multiple people sprinting across the wooden boards. The whole ceiling vibrated with the frantic pounding of feet. The house wasn't hiding its presence anymore. It was surrounding him. Ali realized then that he wasn't exploring a haunted house. He was trapped inside something alive. Ali felt the house tightening around him. Every step he took echoed like a heartbeat, stronger, louder, closer. His flashlight flickered, barely illuminating the decaying walls. Suddenly, he found a small wooden door behind the staircase, half broken and covered in dust. Something about it felt wrong, as if it was meant to stay hidden. With a shaky breath, Ali pulled it open. Inside was a cramped basement room. Old toys were scattered on the floor, tiny shoes, a doll with one eye missing, a rusted tricycle. But the most disturbing thing was the drawing on the wall. Childlike scribbles. A house. A family. And a dark shadow standing behind them. Ali's heart pounded. He moved his flashlight across the room and froze. On the ground lay a small diary, its pages yellow and curled. Carefully, he opened it. The writing belonged to a young girl named Hanya. As he read, a terrifying truth unfolded. Hanya's family had been trapped in this house by a malevolent presence, something not human, something ancient. They tried to escape, but the house wouldn't let them. One by one, they disappeared. Swallowed by the darkness the house carried within its walls. The last page made Ali's breath stop. Greater than if someone is reading this. It means the house has chosen you. Run, before it seals your fate like it did ours. Ali felt the temperature drop sharply. A whisper crawled behind him. The darkness moved like smoke, rising from the corners of the room. The truth. Ali stumbled backward as the shadows crept toward him like living hands. The air grew heavy, suffocating, as if the house were breathing around him. His flashlight died completely, plunging him into absolute darkness. Only the faint whispers guided his fear, calling his name softly, slowly, as if tasting it. Ali. Stay. He ran. Crashing into walls, fumbling through doorways, he forced himself toward the exit. But every corridor felt longer than before, stretching endlessly. The house was changing, twisting, reshaping itself to keep him inside, just like it did with Hanya's family. He reached the main hall, panting, trembling. The front door was in sight. But when he touched the handle, icy pain shot through his arm. The door wouldn't budge. It felt fused to the frame. The whispers turned into low growls echoing from the walls. The temperature dropped further, making Ali's breath visible in the blackness. Then, a child's silhouette appeared at the top of the stairs. Small. Still. Watching him. It was Hanya. Her hollow eyes followed him as she slowly lifted a hand, pointing back toward the basement. "No," Ali whispered. "I'm leaving." The house roared. Lights burst, windows cracked, the floor vibrated. Ali screamed and threw his weight against the door. And suddenly, he was outside. Collapsed on the ground. The house stood silent behind him, as if nothing happened. But Ali knew better. He looked down at his wrist. Black maw. A reminder. From that day onward, Ali wasn't the same. His eyes grew hollow, his sleep restless, his thoughts no longer his own. Some nights, people heard whispers from his room. The same whispers from the house. Because Ali didn't escape. The house followed him.